Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Badminton Weekly with me, Jasmine Lim. And yes, things have changed a little bit around here, but I'll tell you one thing that hasn't changed, and that's our dedication to bringing you the latest in the world of badminton. So with that, let's relive the best action from the recently concluded Toyota Gazoo Racing Thailand Open before we turn our attention to the second Super 750 event of the year, the Singapore Open. Let's now take a look at the best moments from Thailand.
Oh, you've got to feel for Herbingjiao. What a way to end it. The Koreans have won. What a match we've had. It is done. Liang and Wang have dominated this. Kulabutvittitsan has won the Thailand Open. The home favourite strikes. What a way to win this. Kim and Kong have been excellent today.
As we saw in that video, there were plenty of spectacular plays at the Thailand Open, so let's not waste any more time and dive straight into the biggest headlines coming out of Bangkok. And as you can see here, I'm happy to have with me in the studio former Singapore player and two-time Olympian Derek Wong.
Hi Jasmine, good to be back.
Welcome back to the studio, it's great to have you. So I want to kick things off by talking about the Korean contingent. Now the Korean contingent, they stole the show on the last day, walking away with all 3 titles they were contesting for, 2 of which were actually against home heroes. Kim Won-ho and Jong Na-eun, they were made to work the hardest when they took on Thailand number 1s and top seed Dechapo Puavaranukroh and Sapsirite Ratanachai in the mixed doubles finals. My question is, when the Koreans went down in the first game, I believe the score was 11-21. Did you think that they still had any chance of fighting back?
Yeah, so definitely I felt the Koreans had a slight chance to win the second set because the Thai pairs were actually standing on the better side for the first set. Yeah, they had the draft behind them, so when they hit the shuttle, right, the shuttle will be a lot faster, a lot harder against the opponent. So in the second set, they will be dealing with that situation, and the Koreans would then need to leverage on that and try to go for more attacks, which we can see in the match, right? So the Koreans started to hit down a bit more, and the Thais were just trying to return and return. So after the Koreans won the second set, even though, yes, the Thais will be on the better side on the starting of the third set, you could tell that it was always point to point for the both pairs. And eventually, even though the Thai pairs were leading, match point 2019, just a bit of luck, I think, on the Korean side that they eventually won 22-20. Yeah, because at 20, if I'm not wrong, at 21-20, the Thai lady's string actually burst and she had to leave the court. Right, so it's really a bit of timing, a bit of luck as well for the Koreans.
So obviously, as you mentioned, the Thais did lose this particular match, and that's obviously very upsetting for them as well. I want to know, how would that affect them confidence-wise? 1 week ago, they were winning in Malaysia, but this week, back in home ground, they did lose at the final in this manner, of course, with the string broken. How would that affect them?
Actually, I would think that it will not affect them that much because they have already gotten to the finals. They had a good match against the Koreans, 22-20 in the rubber set. It's not like they did not perform. They did perform, but they just lost out to a better pair that day. Yeah, so I would think confidence-wise, they will still be up there. Given that they won the Malaysian, they got into the finals of the Thailand, and let's see how they're going to perform for the Singapore.
Well, that sounds like fantastic news for the Thai pair, and hopefully we'll see them winning in the next few tournaments. One player who isn't short on confidence is, of course, An Se-young. She dropped only 1 game en route to her 7th straight final, where she actually outplayed China's Herbingjiao to win her 4th title of the year. Very impressive indeed. Was there any doubt that she was going to sweep up this title as well for you?
Definitely, when you come up against a China player, you know that there's going to be a fight. Right? But if we look at An Se-young's confidence level when she got on court against Herbingjiao, you can tell that she was not afraid. I think An Se-young's strategy against Herbingjiao was to just retrieve all the shots from her and convert from a defensive position into an offensive position. For example, if she goes up and she takes the net high, she usually would be in control. And after that shot, He Bingjiao would be put into a very bad position, and then An Se-young would go for the final win.
Right.
So An Se-young also has another part of her that is really good, right? Is that when she goes to the back, the opponent usually is not able to anticipate where she's going to hit. Especially on the forehand side, she has a very good deception. She can have a straight half smash or half chop to the cross court. So I think this is one of her special shots that people should also look out for.
올해 또 한 번 결승을 올라와서 이렇게 우승을 하게 돼서 네, 좀 자신감을 좀 많이 얻는 것 같아요. 이번 시합을 통해서 또 이제 앞으로 또 남은 시합들이 많겠지만 그래도 더 집중하면 저도 할 수 있다는 걸 좀 계속 느끼고 있는 것 같아요.
And of course, to wrap up a perfect day for the Koreans, we also had top seeds Kim So-young and Kong Hee-young. Now, the pair needed just under 40 minutes to down the Aimsod sisters. And it was a rather one-sided affair, despite the crowd's best effort to push on the Aimsod sisters, wasn't it?
Yeah, if you actually see, right, same thing. The first set, the Koreans also won quite easily. I believe the score was quite low. So, but in the second set, you could tell that the ties were actually closer in terms of points. So definitely we can see that actually one side was really a lot harder to play than the other. But given that the Korean pairs were a lot more experienced, I think, and a lot more solid, I see that it would probably be harder for the Thai pairs to actually win them.
Second seed Kunlavut Vichit-san made sure the crowd had something to celebrate for when he dominated Hong Kong's Lee Chuk-yu. With how the Thai has performed throughout the week, he really established himself as a force to be reckoned with in the men's singles category, hasn't he?
Kunlavut, I would say he's really a beast on court. He's coming up against this Hong Kong player who's very agile, very light-footed, right, in his footwork. But Kunlavut has shown that whatever Lee could throw at him, he could take it back. Yeah. So it's also very interesting that if you see the scoreline between Kunlavut and Lee, right, it's really low on both sets. So he's probably one of those players that can adapt to draft pretty well. So he's definitely someone that we should be looking out for. And you can also tell that he's going to be someone to look out for because he's the first men's singles to win 2 titles this year.
ความมั่นใจผมว่าก็มีครับแต่ว่าก็ยังต้องเรียนรู้ต่อไปเพราะว่าจริงๆรายการนี้มันก็เหมือนแบบเก็บคะแนนเหมือนเก็บคะแนนโอลิมปิกด้วยซึ่งบางคนเขาอาจจะพักผ่อนอะไรเงี้ยครับแต่ว่าเชื่อว่ารายการต่อๆไปเนี่ยมันต้องหนักมากกว่าเดิมแน่นอนครับ
Now, I want to circle back a little to the women's singles category. Now, Mia Blichfeld, she may not have made it to the finals, but her performance this week, I think, was spectacular and has actually caught the attention of our on-site commentator, Jivan Selvanathan. He has chosen a Dane to be his player of the tournament, and here is the man himself to share his reasons why. Over to you, Jivan.
Standout players, for me, are different from top players. Top players, you're kind of expecting what they're going to do. So, for example, An Se-young making another final is kind of expected. So, when thinking about a standout player, it's the unexpected player that really made an impact this week. And for me, that was Mia Blichfeld. At the Malaysia Masters, she made it to the quarterfinals and took 20-odd points off Akane Yamaguchi in the quarterfinals. She follows that up here with a semi-final, her first of the year, after a straight games flawless run all the way up to the quarterfinals. If you look at those games, it started off with Sung Shun from Chinese Taipei. That was followed up by her big result, Chinese player Gao Fengji. And for any Chinese player you're playing, you have to be on your game. And for her, she was getting her winners right and also beginning to control the points, getting her opponent to rush around the court. After that, it was a Singaporean that was a relatively easy match for her, Yao Jiamin, but also straight games there. So you're talking about a flawless run all the way up to the quarterfinals. Then sadly, she had to face one of the really top players, He Bingjiao, who of course made it to the final. To take that amount of care, she was behind a couple of points in that match, but she still came back. And to finish up 21-13, 21-18 against He Bingjiao is a huge result. What have we seen over these 4 matches? We've seen her composure, strength, skills, never say die attitude. It's always the fist bumps. It's always fighting right till the end. And even in the semi-final, after the loss, He Bingjiao comes out and says that she was so impressed by the speed and skill and awareness. So what I'm saying is, the most impressive player for me this week was the player that's learned enough. I really do think you're going to see a lot more from Mia Blichfeld in the upcoming Opens.
Thanks so much, Jeevan. Let's now turn our attention to the Singapore Open. Now this year it's been upgraded to a Super 750, making it the second one after the India Open. How exciting is it for you to have the top 10 players and pairs playing in your home country, Derek?
Oh, definitely it's very exciting that, we're having this 750 event in Singapore. I could tell, from friends around me that they're all very excited. The vibes they've been giving to me, they're very, very excited to see the top players from all over the world coming for this event. And given that this Singapore Open is the third tournament, I think, for the Olympics qualifications, so the players will definitely be giving their 100%. Or maybe even more than that.
So there's a lot at stake, and of course it's going to be a very exciting tournament. And you yourself, you are familiar with where this tournament is going to be held, which is of course the Singapore Indoor Stadium. Is there any particular playing style that suits the stadium best?
I myself, I'm an attacking player, and I found it very, very difficult to play in the Singapore Open condition.
Okay.
So I would say that the style of players that would really thrive in that arena would be skillful players with good control.
Okay.
So we have players like, I would say, An Se-yong or Akane, or even our local hero, Kian Yu. He's a very skillful player and he's really good at controlling the shuttles and getting it to where he needs it to go.
Now, I love that you mentioned Kian Yu because I want to talk about him a little bit. He's, of course, one of the favorites to play at the Singapore Open, and he's going to be taking on Lee Chuk-yu, who, as mentioned, has made it all the way to the finals at the Thailand Open. So this could be a tricky opener for Kian Yu.
Yeah, I would say Kian Yu still definitely stands a chance.
Okay.
I recalled the last meeting he had with Lee, right? He actually won that match. To me, right, Lee and Kian Yu, they actually both have sort of a similar playing style, and it's really who has an upper hand when it comes to that day's game. Same thing, I mean, it's also the form of the players that's very important, but let's see, because Kian Yu is on home ground, and Lee coming out of the finals of Thailand, we'll never know. He could be tired out, or he could be riding on that with confidence. So let's see what happens.
It'll be a close match for sure, so make sure you guys stay tuned and watch. Now, one pair that is actually hoping to gain some form in Singapore is, of course, Japan's mixed pair, Yuta Watanabe and Arisa Higashino. The world number twos, they are making their return to the tour after Yuta's injury at the All England Open, and they were also a part of the Japanese team at the Sudirman Cup, but there they really struggled to make a dent. Do you think that the Japanese pair can really, try and get up from that and get back on track at the Singapore Open?
I would say, coming out of an injury is always not easy. Yuta's probably trying to find back his form. Let's see, because I would think that the Singapore arena would be most suitable for a pair like for this Japanese pair, given that they are more of a skill control sort of players as well. So what I would really like to see from this pair, right, is that they try and find their footing and play a bit faster, move a bit more synchronized, and then really start to display some of their skills and control on court.
So it'll definitely be very interesting to see how they fare at the Singapore Open. So make sure you don't miss out on any of the action from the 6th all the way to the 11th of June. And with that, we have actually come to the end of today's show. Thank you so much, Derek, for coming down to our new studio.
Thank you, Jasmine. Yeah, great to be here.
It's always a pleasure to have you here as well. And for all of you guys watching at home, remember that you can catch all the latest news, match updates, and statistics through the BWF app, Badminton for You. As always, don't forget to leave your comments, thoughts, and questions on our Facebook page and YouTube page. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you guys next week.